place. Teachers, mentors, guiding your way. Let's talk UVA, join today. Let's talk UVA, all together now. We're connected, yeah, you know how. Let's talk UVA, we're exploring, learning, growing each day.
Good afternoon. Welcome again to an episode of Let's Talk UVA. We're broadcasting live from the Links Den here on Bennington Avenue, and the team of family liaisons are so excited about today's episode. If you ever had questions about how to earn college credits while you're in high school, we're going to answer those questions today. We're going to talk about early college and the Career Academy. And today, to present this information to our families, we have Ms. Robyn Bentley and Ms. Tiffany Bacon. And we're so excited that they've joined us, and I get to ask the first question, as always. So, tell our families, what is early college and Career Academy?
So our Early College and Career Academy has gone through some iterations, so you may have heard a few different namings of it. However, it's our program designed through dual enrollment, where students are allowed to take academic dual enrollment or career elective dual enrollment, and the end goal obviously is preparing students for after high school. They call it post-secondary. So we are preparing our students for college, university, or either career. So we really pride ourselves on this program. We think it's a great opportunity for exposure for our students, and so we're excited to share about it.
Great. So what colleges and universities participate in the program?
Well, I can speak for the technical college options, so our students who are interested in taking career electives. We actually partner with every one of the Louisiana community and technical colleges, so across the state. That's 12 different technical colleges across the state that we have had students take classes with. Different programs at different campuses, so it does vary, but that's kind of the great thing about being able to partner with all of those different colleges, that we have some options for all of our students no matter where they're located. On the academic side, though, we have some other college partners. Ms. Bentley?
So our academic dual enrollment is really kind of our in-house dual enrollment program where we partner with, and when we say partner, that means our faculty are credentialed through two institutions, Northwestern State University as well as River Parishes Community College. So when you are taking dual enrollment with UVA, you have a UVA teacher, but they are credentialed through the post-secondary higher education institution to teach that class. So it still has that college rigor, but you are still within the support system of your high school.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is so exciting. And I can tell you all that each year we have at least 20 students that graduate with an associate degree or a technical certification. Mr. Sandmeyer.
Hey there, Tiffany. Hey there, Robyn. Yeah, so as liaisons, this topic comes up often. We talk about the early college program with our parents and our students a lot in our conversations over the phone. And it really it does seem like a game changer at our school, and other schools that have these types of programs. What are the eligibility requirements for the early college program and technical careers program?
So dual enrollment in general, I feel as a state that we have tried to open the door and create more access for students. And so the baseline for academic dual enrollment is a 2.5 GPA, and for the technical schools, their GPA is a 2.0. So you really want to have an understanding that you're taking college level courses, so you need to make sure that your high school grades look like, that there's where they're supposed to be. With academic dual enrollment, we also look at test scores, so your LEAP test, ACT, PSAT, you want to make sure that you're doing your best on all of those assessments that are given. And that's kind of really what we look at. We also look at, and you might not see this in any documents, but your attendance, that's important as well. So are you attending live session? Are you, staying engaged with your instructors? We do want to look at that because we're sending you, especially with Ms. Bacon's program, if we're going to send you to a college, we want to make sure that you're showing up and, definitely being present and active in your education.
Right, and I would add to that for the technical college students, we're expecting a lot of those students are going to go on the campus at the technical college, so they're going to have their core high school courses with UVA, and then they're going to be going and representing UVA often in person for those classes. So we're looking at your grades, making sure you're handling your UVA classes, but also attendance and are you coming for testing? Are you meeting all of our high school requirements, the expectations before we say, okay, let's add on a college level program.
Is the actual application process pretty straightforward? I'm sure it's not difficult. Is it pretty straightforward applying for these programs?
They all have their own steps. So the very first part of applying to the program is actually to complete our Early College and Career Academy application, which is on the Counselor's Corner course card, the UVA Counselor's Corner course card. There's an Early College and Career Academy application where essentially you're going to let Ms. Bentley and I know what are your goals, what are you working towards, and what kind of dual enrollment are you interested in. And then we'll make sure that the student is eligible on the UVA side before we begin the college application process, which it varies for each college that we partner with.
And I'm glad you said that, Tiffany, because our application period is open right now for the spring. So it opened at the beginning of October, and we'll be processing those interest applications through mid-November. So if you're interested in spring dual enrollment, you want to make sure that you go to that counselor's course card and click our interest application.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Tiffany, about how students have different interests. Can y'all give some examples of specific college credits, degree programs, or career certifications that students could obtain?
I can speak to the career side, and I'll let Ms. Bentley tell you a little bit more about the academic associate degrees. But for a lot of the technical programs, initially those degrees kind of build. So initially, what we're usually setting students up for is to work towards a certificate of technical studies in their area, and usually that's about 2 semesters worth of full-time classes. Okay, so if you're doing welding, you might do the first 2 semesters of welding. Maybe you start in your junior year, maybe it's your senior year, and hopefully you'll finish a certificate of technical studies, which is about half of a 2-year program usually for the 2-year technical college programs. It's the same for most of the career degrees that you're interested in. So maybe automotive, or maybe information technology. We have a lot of different opportunities for students. We don't have everything, but we do have a lot. And so usually what will happen is they might start with a certificate of technical studies, but if the student is still taking classes through junior and senior year, they may get all the way through a technical diploma, or even an associate degree, an applied associate degree. A lot of our academic students are often working towards an associate degree, and Ms. Bentley can talk about some of the differences there.
Right. So the degree programs that students earn with the academic side of dual enrollment would be the Associate of General Studies or the Associate of Arts or Sciences as well. I do want to say, I think this is something that we don't often share. We always talk about the end where the students are earning the associate, which is an amazing opportunity. But dual enrollment that is offered through UVA, the students, we like to think of it as like little buckets. So you can maybe take 1 to 2 dual enrollment classes to see if that's something that you're interested in. Any progress towards anything as far as dual enrollment where you're taking college level courses is helpful, because it helps to cut down the cost of whenever you do decide to go to college, if you decide to go to college. And so we like to think of it, maybe take 2 courses and that's a little taste of dual enrollment, a little taste of college. Or you can take up to 15 credit hours, which is like 5 dual enrollment classes, and that's a semester, or up to 2 years. So it just I want it to be clear that you don't have to commit to a full associate degree if you're interested in dual enrollment. You can definitely just take 1 or 2 classes to get some, college under your belt.
And can you clarify again, are the dual enrollment courses online or in person?
Both.
Right.
So for our technical college students, you can't really learn welding online. Automotives, you're going to be in there working in the shop, right? And for a lot of those trades, they're in person. They may have 1 or 2 classes that are online, but for the majority of those programs, they're hands-on. So our students are taking, like I said, their high school core courses online through UVA, but they may be going to the technical college on all day Tuesdays and Thursdays, or every morning Monday through Friday. So they're taking like a full-time college load usually at the technical college campus, and then they're juggling their UVA classes online. So for the technical college students, I guess one thing that I'm usually talking to them about is just that time commitment. So if you're working a full-time job, this might not work out for you, right? You're really dedicating a lot of time on the campus. Now, some of the programs do allow for online learning as well. So we have a lot of students right now, I'm thinking about a few that are doing information technology. So a lot of those classes you can do online. And we have, actually with River Parishes Community College, we have an online healthcare access specialist degree. So there are some certain, like that's a medical degree, but it's like working in the office side of medical. So there are some blends, and some of the programs allow for both. But in general, if you're learning a trade, and a lot of the career programs do require some in-person learning. Ms. Bentley can talk to our academic side.
Yeah, so for the academic courses, they are online. They, again, like I told you earlier, they're with our UVA faculty, so that means that they're housed in the Canvas learning platform just as your other high school courses would be.
Those are great examples, thank you.
So, following up on what she said, I wanted to ask you, we have all our families listening today. So, and I know there are some middle families that are listening. When should students start considering the early college or technical career academy?
I love that question. I feel like it's never too early to consider it, just because, like we said earlier, grade point average is important. So if you're thinking like, I want to do this program, so this is something that I'm interested in, obviously, if you're in middle school, this is the time to really start honing in on those study skills, understanding how important your grades are, testing, doing test prep so you can have those test taking strategies. So it's never too early to be interested in our program. Now, as far as application wise, for academic dual enrollment, some middle school students do take high school courses, which that will impact their GPA. So I always like our 8th graders to tell me that they're interested so I can kind of start keeping track of them. 9th grade students are allowed to take dual enrollment if they have the GPA, if they have some test scores that I can look at. We do an in-house test. It's just called a MAP assessment. So if you're interested, middle school families, I'm definitely interested in working with you. For Ms. Bacon's program, however, she can take students at 11th and 12th grade. So if you're interested in those courses, then you would definitely start thinking about it 9th and 10th grade. Just let us know you're interested. But yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the technical colleges, you know, because we're sending kids to the campuses a lot of times, we don't let students begin taking those career electives until junior and senior year, but also there's not a whole lot of wiggle room in their schedule until they've completed a lot of those high school requirements, and that's mostly happening in 9th and 10th grade. So for students who are interested in the technical course side of things, I would say two things really. One, career exploration is so important, because if you come to me and you say, I really want to take technical college courses, I'm going to be like, great, what program? And if you have no idea, we've got a lot of legwork to do before we can actually get you enrolled in anything. So maybe you've never heard of a millwright. Research that, right? So those are the kind of things that you need to do a little bit of exploring before I can really get you set up with something. And maybe you know you want to do electrical, but do you want to be an electrician or do you want to be an electrical engineer? That's two different routes. And a lot of times I think something that gets missed, and Ms. Bentley and I talk about this a lot, is the overlap between the programs.
Exactly.
So some of the students, a lot of the students I'm working with, while they're taking those technical college courses, they're actually also taking usually up to 5 academic dual enrollment courses, and that's how they can complete that applied associate degree. So there is some overlap. They're taking more career electives than the university core courses, but they are taking both. So for a student who already knows maybe they want to do electrician, in 9th and 10th grade, I would still encourage them to take honors courses and maybe a couple of those academic dual enrollment so that we can fit everything in.
Yeah, and I think the biggest piece in both of our programs that she was saying, it overlaps a lot, but exploration is the biggest piece. Like our students, obviously it's so hard to think about, what do I want to be when I grow up? We have an idea, but what does that entail? What can it look like? What do I need to do? Do I need to do a summer internship at my mom's job to see if I'm interested? So things like that, like we have the academic piece, but the exploration and really kind of getting into what it looks like, what can I do, that's really part of the piece that we would love when the parents are speaking to you, that's where they come in.
Question. Who's your students contact with questions about scheduling, course offerings, or career interests?
So we work hand in hand with the grade level counselors. We're on the same floor as them. We're in their offices all day long. We're sharing the same students. So the very first thing I would say is to talk to their grade level counselor or talk to Ms. Bentley or I. So all of those work together in tandem. So when we're working with a student for dual enrollment courses, we're also going to be talking with their grade level counselor because we're blending a lot of things here. We're blending our high school requirements with some college degree options and in eligibility criteria. It all kind of overlaps. So usually we're working together with their grade level counselor as we adjust schedules anyway. So questions can either start there or come to us through our interest application or our website.
All right, and what are some challenges that students might face if they choose to participate in the dual enrollment program?
So I think that students who are typically interested in academic dual enrollment, they are, could be your typical high achievers used to excelling in academics. And when they start, that transition from middle school to high school is typically a big transition anyway, but they're so used to achieving well that when they get into that higher level, college level course and they make a B, they're the world, it feels over. And so I think that's one of the greatest challenges for our students to learn, one, study skills and understanding that, okay, this teacher wants me to do X, Y, Z. These are the expectations, this is the deadline, and really kind of transitioning into that. And then also understanding that a B for a college level course is great. Mm-hmm. You are, if you were outside of UVA and you were sitting on a college campus, you would have a different expectation. So I think that's one thing that our students really kind of have to get their minds around, that they're doing harder work and there are different expectations and just kind of navigating that transition.
Okay. And so are parents able to monitor students' progress when they're in these programs? And if so, how can they do that?
Okay, so for our academic courses, yes, like I said earlier, they're housed in Canvas. So having that observer account, having access to the Progress Center is definitely your best bet to monitor their progress. One thing I tell all of my dual enrollment students is your syllabus is your Bible, right? So whatever the teacher has outlined as your deadlines, that's what you follow. And so if you need to write that on your, your little planner or whatever to kind of keep up with that, that's something that's important. With some of our dual enrollment courses, we do have outside platforms like VHL or My Mastery, and so you do have to navigate two things sometimes, but those grades port over for our academic courses. So for parents, I would just say monitor the Canvas, make sure that you're up to date in your Observer account, and look at those grades in the the Student Progress Center.
For the technical college students, it's similar in that they're doing college deadlines and college expectations, which are outside of UVA's expectations. There's a little bit of a difference with the students that are on campus because those are not our teachers. They're being taught by the college instructors. So it's a little harder for me to know exactly what's going on, right, or mom to know exactly what's going on. So I do encourage the parents of those students to kind of just keep an eye on it from their side, because another challenge that can be tricky at first, and usually students are very good about this, but a lot of times they're going to have to log into the UVA Canvas account every day for their high school courses and the college Canvas account. Most of our college partners use Canvas, which is great, but they're not connected. So the students that I have going to the technical college, they may be working on their algebra class with a UVA teacher in the morning, and then in the afternoon they're logging on to the North Shore Technical College Canvas account to work on those classes while they're in the classroom there. So it can be a little tricky. Thankfully, on all of those technical college campuses, they have usually a student support services center, which is kind of the kids' one-stop shop for everything on campus, and that helps a lot. But the college partners are really great about communicating with us, and we're able to reach out to them. So.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I think that you answered all of our questions. Did anybody else have anything else they'd like to add?
One other little question, is there a cost associated with this?
That's a great
Great
question.
question. So UVA does cover the cost of tuition for our dual enrollment courses. That is amazing. I feel like that's a great opportunity for our students. Again, knowing the cost of higher education right now, knowing the cuts in everything that has happened in higher ed, that I feel like this is an opportunity for more people to actually take advantage of, just because it's such a good opportunity. Yes, so they cover the cost of tuition, and obviously in-house UVA, all of the books are covered because they're taught through with our teachers. So
For the career programs, the tuition is covered, which again, that's usually thousands of dollars per student. But there can be supplies or books that are required on the college campus at the technical college that UVA cannot pay for. We don't pay for the books or supplies, but usually it's a minimal amount compared to the tuition, which is covered in full. So most of our families still find it's an amazing savings, and usually those extra expenses are really pretty minimal.
Thank you guys so much for coming and sharing this awesome information. We're so glad that you guys took time out of your day. We hope this information was helpful for you. If you need to get in touch with either of our counselors as in regards to the dual enrollment, you can get their email addresses from the screen in front of you right now. You can also scan the QR code that you see. So you should be able to see their email addresses, scan the QR code, and that will bring you to their webpage. You can also make sure that you can get in touch with your liaisons. You can use our quick links page to contact us. You can find a lot of other information there on the quick links page, including the counselor's information. And again, we're so happy that you guys took some time to come out and be with us today, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
Let's talk UVA. We're exploring, learning, growing each day. From the classrooms to the online space, every learner finds their place. Teachers, mentors, guiding your way. Let's talk UVA. Join today. Let's talk UVA.